All right, so we're going to take a little look at Cam here. And this is what we look at with kids when we're looking at how to kind of find out if they've got any sort of structural issues from a spinal perspective on there. Real simple things a parent can do at home even. So Cam, I'm going to have you stand nice and tall there, buddy. Put your arms by your side. There you go. So we start to look at shoulder height from one side to the other. Does one sit higher? One sits a little bit lower on there. We also look at like torque. Does he rotate? Does his torso rotate a little bit one way versus the other way relative to his hips? Go ahead and face that way for me now, buddy. Oh, we got a little crack hanging out here for a reason. So what we want to do here is look at just the line of their spine. He's pretty straight through there, and that's a pretty good indicator to start there and kind of work your way back up. Then we look at his shoulder blades. Like a scoliosis will show a lot on one side and not much on the other. And the same thing holds true here. We can look at shoulder imbalances from right to left to give us some clues on there. So that's a simple thing from a standing perspective. We'll look at something from laying down. Right, so when we look at it from this perspective, the simple things we're looking at here is leg length on these little people. So I'm going to pull these up, and he's pretty balanced here, but some kids you'll see, they'll have a foot difference like that. All of a sudden, one will be longer than the other when you lay them down, or you can bring them up like this, and you see one side sits a lot higher than the other. So he's pretty true here, but you'll start to see some of those where the one side will be a half an inch higher on there. The thing you can look at when you lay a kid down is when you bring those feet up on both sides, does their pelvis sway one way versus the other way? So all these things will indicate any imbalances you see. The same thing here. I'm going to kind of just work my way up and follow his spine on there all the way to the top. And again, I'll look at balance here versus here. I look at it from this perspective as well too. The height on one side versus the height on the other. He's pretty square through there. He dips a little bit on this hip, and he's left-handed. So left-handed, a lot of times you'll see an elevation on the left side versus the right side. So he kind of fits that pattern a little bit here. You still want him balanced, but you're going to notice certain things with kids, pattern-wise, that start to stick out with him. So again, from standing, we look at balance from right to left. Lying down, we look at balance from right to left. You can look at leg length difference. You can look at humps from one side to the other, look at their shoulder height. These all give you clues. Any sort of structural issues such as like scoliosis, a more significant thing like that, same thing. You're going to see a lot of winging on the shoulder blades. You're going to see things divot in when they lie down or when they stand up. They'll start to rotate a lot to the shoulder as well too. So these are all things you got to make sure you're paying attention to as a parent. If you notice them, the trick is how quickly can you address them so they don't progress and they don't create secondary problems that are bigger and more serious at that point. So hopefully this is helpful.